In. It is the top of the hour. It is 11 o'clock, so we are going to go ahead and get started. Um, we've got a big topic here today, Excel. So, Excel is definitely one of those hard to tackle topics for training, and this is not like an in-person training, but it's definitely a good basics to get started, and hope everybody picks up a few things. Before we get started, let's you know like to talk about who we are. We're Seamless Solutions. We are business optimizers. What does that mean? Well, that means that we handle everything from IT infrastructure, cabling, all the way up through your copiers, printers, desktop computers. We can sell uh, anything HP or Dell or Lenovo. We also sell Ricoh and Savin products. So if there is something that you're in need of, please let us know. I put my email in the chat if there's something that you need. I also included our YouTube channel in there. Um, and Mary, I am talking now, so if you hopefully you can hear me. Hope everybody can hear me. You can give me a thumbs up. There are the little emojis. There's a little thumbs up. Somebody just raised their hand. That's cool. Yep, Mary can hear me. That's great. Uh, I'm not going to have time enough for the 300 people we have in this meeting to lower hands, so you can lower your hand on your own. Hey, that's awesome. Uh, there are quite a few people who asked to join this meeting. I actually originally scoped it for 300. I moved it to 400, and I think we have 382 tickets sold or something. Well, given away. This is something that I really think is important, is to teach people more about the Microsoft products. We've gone over things like Outlook tips and tricks. We've gone over Teams. We've gone over SharePoint and OneDrive. Today is Excel. I put out a survey. We got some responses back on that survey, um, and happy to share those with you guys if you want to see them. But pretty much everybody wants to learn about everything. There was really no topic that anybody was like they really don't want to hear about, except for streams, which is obviously not a big topic. It's the YouTube channel for Microsoft. I don't know how much they're going to hang on to it, but we'll see. We'll see if they maintain and keep it going. Um, but today we're focusing in on Excel. I'm not going to be able to show you everything about Excel. I'll probably get 5 or 10% of the things of an Excel, but and some of this is going to be basic, and some of this is going to be advanced. Some of this you're going to go, I already know all this. And that's great. Hopefully you pick up at least one or two things. But some of the things that Seamless can do for you, if you are looking for an IT provider, we are a managed service provider. If you're looking for a backup solution, we really we've just recently launched a new backup solution that is just fantastic, low cost, and it's better than any other backup solution I've seen, because it actually uses two backup solutions. So you get this really redundant system on backup. So if one has a problem, the other one is there as a backup, and then it really works together really well. So we're really proud of that. So if anybody's interested in that, please shoot me an email. My email was listed at the top. I will put it again. It is jbalter@seamlesssolutions.com. Um, and I know it's kind of a mouthful. You can also do jbalter@ssihou.com if that works easier for you. You can shoot me an email anytime. Say, hey, John, I sat through your presentation on Excel. That was awesome. Really appreciate it. Love all those kind of emails. I also like the ones that are like, hey, John, I heard you do backup, and our company hasn't really looked at our backup solution. We're still running old tapes and or external hard drives and running them to the bank. What can you do to solve those problems? Um, Today is October 28th, so we're coming to the end of Cyber Awareness Month, Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which is October. So wanted to talk about three things that can make your company more secure before we jump into Excel. Number one, make sure you have multi-factor authentication turned on for your Microsoft 365, or if you're doing Gmail still, your Gmail accounts. It's real important that multi-factor is turned on. Number two, try to use better passwords, and the best password is phrasings. So phrasing is the new password thing. That's where it's three simple words with a number at the end and then a special character, such as red stapler cup, and then 21, and then maybe a pound sign. That's the best password ever. And number 3 is education, right? Learn what you need to know, and with those 3 things, you'll always be ahead of the curve. So with that, let's hop into Excel here and really jump into what you guys really want to talk about, which is, hey, how do I really use Excel? I just want to make sure I'm showing you guys the Excel screen. I think we are now, right? So, sorry, I've got like 50 windows open. Yep, there we go. Okay, fantastic. So this is an Excel document. We've seen them all before. They're really easy. I'm going to flip over to an unformatted one so that we can see the data just raw, right? This is just Excel. We get so many things in Excel these days. It's just data overload in a lot of ways. And how do we make that a little simpler is some of the functionality that Excel has really put in. So one of the new features of Excel that I really like is their new autofill feature. So if I wanted to take this district, and I'm misspelling it, but if I want to take district and lead tech and combine them together, right? I could do it the old formula way, right? I could do a formula that adds this one plus this one. But believe it or not, Excel now is smarter than us and has started to look for patterns. So if I type in a pattern and I type it in the same way, it's going to autofill those for me. Did you see that? It just autofilled that. And then all I got to do is click tab and boom, it's done. And that's how easy it is, man. Autofill is really cool. It's called flash fill. It works really easy. It is super cool. Well, what else can you do with this flash fill, John? That sounds really cool. Well, let's do that again. But this time, you know what? I'm just going to drag that one over, right? Anybody know about that little trick? There's a little corner piece you can just drag over. It's going to copy over your piece. By the way, if you put a -1 or a 1 at the end, when I drag it over, now it's going to be 2. Because anything that it can increment, it's going to automatically try to increment for me. So let's try it again. North. Let's try something different. Let's try north and then hit enter. Look at that. I don't even have to, it's like I'm smart enough to figure out that and for you, John. I'm gonna autofill that for you. Boom, right? So how can that be useful? Well, I mean, easy. I mean, if I needed to combine 2 names together and put a comma in between them or something, right? So let's do that. Let's add a comma in between. That sounds like fun. Let's do it in reverse this time. We haven't done reverse. Figure it out. What do you guys think? Man, it's pretty cool. It figured it out. How awesome is that? And then people are like, well, if you can do it one way, can we do it the other way? Well, let's give it a try. Boom. It went the other direction. How cool is that? I mean, really easy to break stuff apart now in Excel without having to do a whole lot of work. So just some fun stuff that you can use Excel for and do. By the way, you do have to have more recent versions of Excel. So if you're running, 2013, I'm really sorry, or I don't even remember the old versions of Excel. Now there's so many, but if you're not running the newest version, it is not going to have this functionality in there. Okay, so just so you all know, it's definitely not going to have this functionality in there. Sorry, I had to do that. My phone was vibrating every time you guys were putting a little chat into Teams. You can't see anything other than the people in Teams. Can't hear anything. Change my view. Well, I can stop sharing and read if that helps you guys out. I'll try this again. All right. Did that make it better for everybody? You want me to zoom in a bit more? Well, instead of zooming in, We can just make it bigger. How's that? So I'll redo that again for you since somebody said they couldn't see it. So we'll try it again. District and lead tech, right? And we're going to type that in. North, south, and bam, it fills it in for you. So I hope that worked for everybody. And then if you want to go the other direction, right? So let's add a 1 here, right? Grab that little corner. We'll drag that out. Now it's a 2. By the way, I'm just using the double click so that it fits the screen size. You can do that for the whole piece, right? So I can shrink everything up. And then if I just double click on it, it's going to find the right size for each of the columns that I have selected. Okay. So you just double click, boom, boom. So shrink them up again. Oh, I may have overshrunk them. Now they're too small. Double click, boom, they're back out. Let's try to separate them. North, enter, south, enter. Boom. Let's try lead tech. Boom. Easy. Are there any files given for this? I can definitely put the file out there if you guys want to see this one. This one is, let's see, can I share a file? I don't think I can actually share a file with when I'm in this setting. Sorry. Maybe. Nope. Sorry. But if you shoot me an email later, I will be happy to send you the example file that I'm using. But it doesn't matter. I mean, really doesn't matter. I mean, I can just come in and create a new file, you know, name, Steve, you know, Kevin, John, Bill, right? Location, north, south, east, west. Those are totally random. Name and location. Oh, I forgot you guys want me to zoom in. Let's zoom in. Boom. So Steve, north, Kevin, boom, done. So it doesn't matter what the file is. So you really don't need my example files. These are literally just random example files that I downloaded. Nothing important about them. Trust me, nothing special about them at all. They're just examples. Except for when you close them by accident and then, so let's reopen that one back up. Okay. Now, one thing you may have noticed that I closed that by accident, but it saved my work. This is the work we were just doing. What the heck, John? What are you talking about? It auto saved. It auto saved. I'm saving my files in my OneDrive, and since it's in my OneDrive on my computer, so there's my OneDrive, and it's right there. That's the sample file. It's doing autosave on that file every second of every change. So I can change things and it's saving them. You can see them up at the top. It's going to say, you know, last saved 2 minutes ago, and then it'll save. If I exit out, it will save it when I exit. What's really cool about that is I can go to File, Information, and Version over here, and I can see the different versions of when I got in there and open those different versions and then compare those different versions. It's not a OneDrive training, so I'm not going to focus on that, but just some cool stuff about OneDrive with Excel that combines the two for even more power. Yeah, it does save some time. It's pretty cool to use that autofill stuff, especially when you have like a list of names, right? If I got names first and last name and I need to divide them up or something like that. So if I had a customer list, right? And I had their email address and their name, right? And I'm like, I want first name, right? and last name, and I want them separated because I want to stick them into a database. Well, guess what? I can use that space. Oh, I didn't type it in exactly correct. Typing is important. Boom. Now I have first and last name separated. Now, how that's pretty cool, John. Well, what can you do with an email? What can you do? I got this big old email over here. What if I wanted to know what their domain was? Well, I can just say Gmail, enter. Gmail, enter. Boom. Now that's all their domains. Now you can see this one didn't have an @ symbol, so it just skips it, lets me go on with life. Right? You'll notice I've actually messed with some of the data in here, so it's just fuzzy. It's called fuzzy data. You just do a find and replace stuff with random digits. It's kind of cool. It's an easy way to take and make fake data. So let's say I wanted to recombine these back together. So I can take the first name, say dot, the last name at the domain.com, and then type it over again. First name dot last name. Now I have to do it twice because unfortunately Gmail was the same one at the top here, but it figured it out. And there, now I can create an entire list using the exact same information. Oh, zoom in again. Oh, I got to remember that. I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. I'm zooming in. So you can see here, I took and I recombined these back together with the domains on them. And I changed the end of this domain, which was originally .zune, which was wrong, to .com by just typing it in. So I created a new email address. Separate names, things like that, really cool and easy. All right, let's flip back over to this table right here. So some of the other functionality in Excel that people may not realize is, believe it or not, Excel is pretty cool at just formatting a table for you. So they added this button in here, format table as, and it just lets you click, or select whatever you think is a pretty table. Our company colors are blue, so I'm going to go with blue. Do I want to use my headers? Yep, boom. Now, this is a new feature that got added. It's now suggesting, hey, you want to launch the analyze data? I'm not going to do that right now, but you could. You could launch it, and it's going to show you. It's going to try to analyze the data and give you some input on it, right? Which are most interesting to you? So this little analyze data thing, I guess I should have just done it. And then I'm going to insert a graph right here. Boom. I mean, how cool is that? Now you look like the bomb to your boss because you created a graph in 2 seconds. Or let's say I wanted to do a pivot table. Well, it already suggested this pivot table by location and then the different types and total sales, and it put it all together for me. Now that's pretty cool. You want me to show you the colors again? Fantastic. Easy enough. Let's delete this stuff out. So I'm just going to come in here. I'm just going to undo everything. Oh, I went too far. You know what? Let's just do this. Let's go to information. Let's go to version history, and we'll just revert this back to before I started working on it. There we go. I'm just going to restore it. It not happy with me because it's trying to restore something over that the file's open twice, but that's okay. So we'll close out of it. It must be open someplace else too. This is what happens when you start jumping all around, but that's okay. You know, we're here to have some fun. It's a free class. All right. There we go. Now we're back. All right, so I'm going to zoom in this time. On the home page, on your home ribbon, by the way, this is your ribbon up here. If you ever want it to go away, there's a little chevron over here. Hide your ribbon, right? If you click on home twice, it'll lock it in place, by the way. Home twice, it hides it, brings it back. So you can use that little chevron to hide it or double click on home to bring it back. I know a lot of people make it go away and they can never find it again, but it's still there. All right, so I'm gonna highlight everything that I want for my table. I'm gonna click on format as a table, and then I'm gonna pick whatever one I want. Well, we did blue last time, so let's do purple. I'm gonna choose purple. And it's going to ask me, well, do you want to use your headers? Yes, I do. And what that did was it just added some filters on here. So since it knows it's a date, it's filtering it by date. You can see here, it's year and then month and then day. On this filter, it's the regions, west or east. So if I just say, show me all the east or show me all the west, you know, I can flip back and forth through there. If I want to do to change something, so we know that these are prices, right? So if I highlight over the top two, I hold down the shift and the control button and a down arrow, it now selected that whole row, but just the sections that actually have data in them. I can click on home and I can say, since I know it's a price, I can use this little button right here to format it as a price. I can say I don't want to see any cents or I want to see the cents. Maybe there's even another digit. I can add those digits just by going back and forth there. Okay. So it added the filters for me. If I want to get rid of the filters, I can come over here and take my filters off. It's under sort and filters. So one of the other features that was right next to format my table is this conditional formatting. It is so cool to use conditional formatting. It's a great way to make things visual for people to see what, if there's a problem or something like that. So if I wanted to highlight a cell that is less than, let's say 50 bucks, I can do that. And now look, it's all red. All the ones that are less than $50 all the way down. Let's say greater than 60. Let's make them filled with yellow. So it's using the first condition, then the second condition. So you can do all those different things and use conditional formatting to format your tables just to make them more graphically appear. Somebody was asking me how we do the pivot tables, right? How I made that little pivot table happen. I'm gonna show you. We're gonna get there. Right? You can click on data analysis right here, and that's going to pop up this window over here. And that's where those suggestions were at, okay? That's why I wanted to show you that it's actually right here. It just suggested, do you want to look at your data analysis now? But I can turn this on or off at any time I want, okay? And then that's where it created that pivot table. It created a chart. It created a different chart down here. You can look at, there are 38 results that it created, right? You know, all these different charts and tables that it thinks may be interesting to you. Some of them may be, some of them may just be garbage. So, you know, it's trying its best. Yeah, it's a fun new feature. But one of the things that everybody always wants to know about is pivot tables. So we can hop into pivot tables. They are on the data. I'm sorry. Where are they at? Oh, on the insert tab. I'm sorry. They're on the insert tab and they're pivot tables. One of the cool new features of Excel that came out 2 years ago or 3 years ago was recommended pivot tables. This makes your job so much easier. So if you highlight everything and click on recommended pivot tables, oh, it's saying that there's some blanks. Do you want us to fix that? Okay. So let's try that again. Insert recommended pivot tables. Oh, I haven't tried this yet. We cannot recommend any pivot tables. There are too many blank cells or duplicate cells. All right, so it's saying that it can't recommend one. So we'll just create one. So we're going to start over. I'm going to say insert pivot table. You know, what's the data I want? I want to put it on a new sheet. And I'm going to say OK. So once I do that, and I know this is going to be hard for you guys to see, so let me zoom in again. So now I've got a blank pivot table. Over here, I've got my different selections, okay? These are each of the columns, right? So if I wanted to know what products were going to be in a row, I can choose products, and I can choose total price as my values, and now it's summed up those total prices, okay? And, you know, if I double click on one, it's going to take and create a new table for me with just that information. So this is arrowroot and just the information from the arrowroot. Delete that one. You can format these too. Or you can format the whole section. But what makes this really cool is like if I wanted two things. So now I can add the quantities, right? This quantity used the format from the table before. We don't want that. So it's summing my quantities, it's summing my totals. I can change it. It doesn't have to be a sum. Right? I can do a count. I can do an average. I can do a minimum. I can do a maximum. I can do whatever I want to do. And then you can show as different things. Percent of total. So if I did a count and I said percent of grand total, this is 100%, but it's doing a grand total of what's important here. Now you can see it included blanks. So if I want to take those blanks out, I can come over here. So there's a little down arrow right here. Click that little down arrow, and I can take blank off, and that's going to disappear. Let's say I just didn't want to see, you know, chocolate chips and bran. I don't like them. Take them off. There, now they're hidden. The table's still complete. You can see it's still 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got a complete table, but it is missing those things. So if we come back in, select them all, they'll pop back in for us. Easy peasy. Take off that brand. So pivot tables are really cool, really functional. This is how you take a lot of data and make it really useful. You know, like if I wanted regions, right? Product and then region. So here's by region each product. So I know that in the East, percentage of my total price, I'm getting 61% from the East and 38% from the West. So, I mean, my East region is kicking butt. My West region is, you know, 20% behind. Pretty cool, right? Let's even add cities in here. So now we've got East Boston, who's doing the best, right? And then you can flip them around, right? Get rid of region, just drag it off. Now it's just cities. And it's auto stacking them based on percentage. And then I'm just clicking in here and saying sort by A to Z or Z to A. You can do more sort options. You can say ascending by total price, ascending by total sum quantities, flip things around. So just some fun stuff you can do with pivot tables. Pivot tables are hugely powerful. Once again, any data I want to break out and I want to know what's actually coming from that data, I just highlight over and double click and it's going to pull just that data. So it just pulled the brand for San Diego. That's it. Nothing else. Just that information. Created its own spreadsheet for me. It even color codes it for you. I mean, you can change the color coding to whatever you like. You can remove it if you don't like it at all. All right. We're about halfway through right now. I hope you guys are getting some good stuff from this. So one other thing that people like to do, right? Well, we all like pivot tables. Pivot tables are great, but recommended charts are pretty cool. So you can have it recommend different charts. So let's say I wanted to do, ball charts, or if I wanted to do a line chart. This one doesn't really do a whole lot of charts that I like. Map is kind of cool. If you had geographical information, you can enter geographical information in there. And then you can even do pivot table charts, right? So if we were back on this pivot table, I can chart any of the pivot tables that I have. So let's do a line chart. And you can see there's the line chart. And you can even filter out different things, right? So let's say we only wanted to look at pretzels right now. I don't know if that's a good one or not, but so I can change it. Let's only look at Boston. Not a whole lot of data there, but there you go. But you kind of get the idea that you can mess around with different charts and tables that are pivot table charts. And by the way, you can move them around. You don't have to leave them sitting on top of your stuff. I've just got some stuff. There we go. Move some stuff around. There we go. And you can always delete. Nice thing about Excel is if we don't like something, just get rid of it. You'll notice that it pulled my filters from both sides, so I have to get rid of them. And I'm just clearing out those filters. If I change stuff on my original table, by the way, it does follow through to my pivot table. Sometimes you have to come over to data and say refresh. Depending on how your table is built, it should auto refresh if your settings are correct, but I always try to make sure to refresh the data, and that'll bring my pivot table back to life. So let's create a new pivot table. And I'm going to do regions, products. Let's put products over here. And then let's just do quantity. It's a good one. Easy pivot table, right? But let's add order date. So that just took my really simple pivot table and made it complicated, but let's take out so you can see now it's like really complicated stuff. But that's usually the way pivot tables get. They start out really simple, and then as you build on them, they get more and more complicated. You can collapse to years. Or you can collapse the entire group. So now I'm just looking at each year, and I can break them apart by year, right? Collapse entire field. And now I'm looking at it by quarters. So pretty cool, easy stuff. Makes life a little more fun in pivot tables. If I just wanted to see that second quarter, remember I can just double click on it. It's going to pull out whatever data I'm highlighted over. Okay. If I go to design, this is where I can say don't show subtotals, you know, show totals at bottom, totals at top right. So you can change all kinds of little settings in here. Change your report layout if you like. Some people like it more like that. I like it compact. You can insert a blank line if you want to add some space in there. Okay. And you can change your coloring up here. And there's more to these colorings, by the way. So don't think that you're limited to just those few that are showing right there. There's a whole bunch. And the way I got there is that little chevron right there. Let me zoom in, show you guys that. I don't know why it keeps coming out of my zoom, but it does. So anytime there's that little, it's a line with a down arrow, you can click on it and there's going to be more options. Okay. So we went over autofill, we went over pivot tables, we've gone over how things can be used. You know, let's look at filters real quick. Filters are really cool, especially when I look at a filter that's a date. So I can take out all the whole year right here. So now I'm just looking at 1 year in my filter. The other type of filter you can do is you can look at between different things or look at yesterday. There's not going to be anything for yesterday. But I can look at different dates between or after. Let's clear that. One of the other nice features is does not contain. So does not contain York. And it's going to pull out all the New Yorks. I can always clear my filters. It's not actually deleting the data, it's just hiding it, right? So like if I right click and I hide a table, that's what it's really doing. And then if I highlight over and unhide, it's going to restore those tables back. So right click and you can hide a column or a row. By the way, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, all the way out. These are columns, one all the way down to 36,000 or whatever, 300 and I forget what the maximum number is, but it's enormous. By the way, Excel does have limits. It is not designed as a database. It should not be used as one. You know, anytime you're getting over about 100,000 records, it really starts to slow Excel down quite a bit. The more records you have, the slower it get. This is a pretty good sized table, I think 200 and change. And this is the reason why it was mad at me, is because there's actually all this blank data at the end, all the way up to 104,000 or something. So how do I get rid of all that, John? You know, what if I want to clean up my stuff? We can do that real easy. Go to the last one, highlight Shift and Control, hold down the down arrow, and then say right click and delete table rows. Gone. Just that quick and easy. By the way, Shift and down arrow will down arrow you one selection at a time. Control and down arrow will take you to the last, or up arrow will take you to the first piece of data. So it makes it really easy to move around in Excel, just holding the control. If I hold Shift, that's when I'm selecting things. I know you guys are getting sick and probably dizzy from me doing that, but it's really easy. Quantity with numbers, right? You can come in here and say, I want, you know, I really want to know about these specific numbers, or you can say, hey, just show me any number that's greater than 40. Pretty quick and easy, right? So filters are really easy to use, really powerful. Copy and paste, right? You guys all know this. How about transpose, right? So let's go over to a new place. We're just going to paste it normal. Okay, we're going to transpose it. Right, so what it did was it took everything from this and turned it this way and turned it this way, turned it this way. Not always the most useful, but when you need it, that is super helpful in the universe. So somebody asked, you know, does Excel, can I do that again? Absolutely, I can do that anytime. So here, we'll just delete this thing out, right? Copy, right click instead of left click, and then when I'm pasting, there's one that says transpose. I also hit T, but transpose. So there's a whole bunch of different special pastes. That's what these are. Right, there's a, come on up, there it goes. So you can paste just values. You can paste values and formatting. But that transpose is right in there. It's probably the most useful one that I've seen. I mean, there's other ones in there where you just paste the formulas or things like that, but paste no borders, I guess. But I've used transpose a million times. You want to know about hidden columns? Does it copy them? Yes. So if I, depends on how I select them, but yes. So I'm hiding row 3, right? Row 3 is in here. Let's unhide it. Let's rehide it. If I highlight like this and I copy and I paste down here, row 3 is back. Now, if I select and I hold Control, if I Control and copy the 3 rows and paste it, it's not back. Well, why, John? Well, that's because when I do Control, I'm actually selecting the individual rows that I want. So you can copy like that too, and then paste. And since I just pasted values, notice it got rid of that row anyhow. There you go. So either way is a way to do it. But holding Control keeps those out. If I select like this, it's pulling all those rows in. So even if it's hidden, it's still there. It's not gone. It's just hidden from my view. You want my session recorded? Absolutely. You can go look at it on YouTube with our other sessions once we're all done. My system was not very happy there. I wanted to show you guys a few functions, so I wrote them down already. So concatenate, and if you make fun of the way I say it, I'm sorry, but it's a cool function to do what we were doing with autofill, but just on an individual basis. So I'm using this formula right here to take these two and combine them together, and then I have a blank and underscore in between. So I'm going to rewrite it. Oh, I'm sorry. It's too small, right? Too small. There we go. So I'm going to do this one again. So if I want to concatenate these two together, I hit equal. I type in the word, or start to type it in, and it'll start to fill it in for me. Then I can select it, and then I can say this, and I'm going to just type my text. I'm going to let's put a pound sign in between this time. So that's one way to do your formula, right? The other way is to come up here and hit equals, type it in up here, or so I can type it in up here. The other way that a lot of people that aren't very familiar with formulas use, and it's probably the best way, is if you hit this little function button right here. It's going to insert the function for you. I don't know what function I need. I can type in part of it, and then let me select it. And then when I select it, it's going to say, okay, well, here's your function. Oh, by the way, sorry, didn't mean to do that. There we go. So now I want to take this one. I want that blank spot in there. I lost all of my information by doing that, John. There we go. I want to put a blank spot in there so I can actually just come here and hit space. It's going to know, put the parentheses around it, and you can keep going, right? You can do as many of these as you want. And it's going to make this really cool little thing for you. So if you need to add things together and you don't want to try to mess with autofill, right? Remember, because you could just do the autofill, but that's the old formula for doing it, actually. VLOOKUP is probably one of the most powerful tools ever, right? I think I'm going to flip over to a different example here. Okay, so VLOOKUP is really cool. So if I had this big table here, right, and I'm looking for like a customer number or work order number, which is what this is, and then I want to return maybe the service, which is how many over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over, 6 over. So how would I do that? So we're just going to go to a new worksheet here. Do you have to turn on autofill? No, autofill's turned on by default. As far as I know, you can't even turn it off. You can ignore it, but you can't turn it off. Okay, so let's try this thing. All right, so let's do a VLOOKUP. So I'm going to do it up here. I'm going to make it easy for you guys. We're going to do a VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup, by the way. If you ever read, there's actually all the definitions for the entire thing down here. And the first thing it's going to say is, well, what's the value we want to look up? And so we want to look up, we're going to look up work order number A00, A00120. Okay. Okay, what's our table array that we're going to use? So our table is going to be this whole big table. Oh, we're on the wrong one. Sorry, I want to be on this one. Let me delete that off. So we're going to use this whole big table. And then what row do we want to return? I think it was row 6. And then the range lookup, if you want fuzzy logic in there, you put true here. If not, put false. So fuzzy logic is if I'm looking for A0010 and there's one that's A001-0, it'll try to return that. By the way, since this is actually a name, I have to put it in parentheses and I click OK. And so it returned that. What was my table? I think I picked the wrong number. Oh, yeah, I only went 6. I should have gone 7 to get my status. So all I have to do is change that number there to whatever column I want. So what that's really good for is if I have this number written out here, and I want to say something like work order number, what is the status? And let's change this. We're going to come in here. I'm going to click that little function button. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to give it that. It's going to give me the same information, repair, which is what the status of that one is, right? 120 is repair. So let's pick a different one. Let's go 124, enter. And that one's replace. We'll try 100. See how cool that is? I mean, that's pretty nifty stuff, right? I mean, vertical lookups are really cool. By the way, if I just drag it out, it's going to mess up my formula. So don't do that. What to do is copy it, flip over to the other, paste it, and then if you want the next, let's say we wanted the previous one, I can paste that. So it's going to now return column 6 on that one, which is our lead technician. By the way, you can see this is a date, but it's not really a date. If you see things like this, it's because it's not formatted correctly. So I'm going to hold down the shift button. I'm going to arrow over once. I'm going to hold down the control button now. Down arrow. I want this to be formatted as a date, right? So I can use this feature up here to format it as a date, short date, right? So I don't know if you guys have seen this little box up here, but this new formatting box is really cool. If you don't want to do that way, you can right click on it, go to format cell, and then select whatever date format you want. You know, maybe I want it like that. Who cares? So if I wanted the date to be returned, copy, paste. That's column 8, wasn't it? Maybe it wasn't 8. Oh, no, it's not 8, it's 9. And notice how it's not formatted here. I've just got to format it again. Do long date this time. So pretty cool stuff. We're coming up to the end of the hour. If you need to compare 2 different columns, like numbers or dates. So we can definitely do dates. You know, we can compare dates. You guys want to compare dates? And just take it and this minus this. It's going to give me this weird number, right? That's because this is actually days. So I can just tell it this minus this. It's 14 days difference. The reason why is because it was set to date. That's the reason why it's giving me that weird date, right? I just had to set it back to general. So easy equals this minus this. Weird date changes to general. By the way, you can use this formatting button up here to copy format. So it's the format painter. You just take it, grab it, drop it wherever you want it, right? So if I want to copy a formula, I can do that. I can also click this little button right here. It's going to show me some tables that are available. But if I double click right here in this corner, boom, it copied my formula all the way down for me. I'm not going to go to the end. It's like 400 lines. But you guys get the idea, right? What other things can you do with Excel, John? Man, there are so many things I can do with Excel. If I want to duplicate sheet 1 and 2, well, I can just go down to where it says sheet. I can right click and I can say, make a copy, create a copy. Okay. Sheet 1 copied. By the way, did you guys know you can color code your sheets? Man, we can make that one weird brown color. Make this one green. Oh, I made it purple, sorry. But you get the point, right? Make it orange. Do anything you want with them. They're pretty cool. Notice how it's smart enough to change the text coloring so you can still read it. I love that. Not duplicate, but identify if there's a duplicate. Oh, to identify if there's a duplicate? I haven't done that in a while, but I know there is a button to remove duplicates right here underneath data. You can also use relationship to pull things together, but you want to look for a duplicate, not remove them. By the way, there's flash fill if you want to push the button. Never seen anybody actually push it, but I don't think it does anything when you just push it. Yeah, we can't figure out what you're trying to do. But remove duplicates is pretty cool. Oh yeah, you can do it in conditional formatting for sure, but that's just going to show you format to look for duplicates. There's new rules. Where is it at? I think you can do it in rule and say look for duplicate, but I was looking to see if there was a filter one. I think data filters. I'd have to come back to you on that. Shoot me an email. I will find out. But I think there is a filter that you can actually tell it to filter by duplicates. I'm just drawing a blank right now where it's at. Sorry. I mean, Excel is huge. But there definitely is a duplicate filter. I'm just trying to remember where it's at. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff we can do in Excel. You know, you can definitely do all kinds of things. We only have 2 more minutes left, so I can't show you too many things. You can merge, right? Just merge those 2 cells together, merge and center. Kind of a, if there's data in both, it's going to get rid of one, give you the top left, I think is what it does, right? Top left, that's what it says. Yeah, upper left value, discard all the others. But it allows you to like create merge forms fast. A lot of these little features up here are pretty cool for doing things, right? Like, so I want to have this, you know, vertical instead of horizontal. Okay, let's make it readable. Go down. No, make it at an angle, right? Pretty cool little button right there too. You can take it off. Yeah, you can highlight them in pink for sure. Absolutely. But I think there is a way to filter them. It's not coming to me right at this second. I know in data that remove duplicates is pretty powerful. You want to make sure you select everything. But you're kind of, I don't think there are any, this isn't a really good duplicate deduper. I have another session if you guys want to do other things with Excel. There it is. Is it advanced? There it is. Unique records only. That's where it's at. Filter. So if we go to the data tab, advanced, don't get angry with me. unique records only. And so you can tell it what the criteria is, right? So the criteria, we can do district. There's not going to be a whole lot. It's going to remove a lot of stuff and say, okay. But yeah, you can definitely look for with that unique records. I haven't messed with that in a while. All right, guys, we are at the top of the hour. Any last questions? I'll let you have the rest of your guys' day back. I promise you we could spend 4 more hours on, hey, John, how do you do this? And hey, John, how do you do that? There's a lot to Excel. Word and Outlook are a lot easier, but they're complicated too. I absolutely will be posting the video, guys, on our YouTube channel. If you want to find our YouTube channel, right? How do you do that, John? Well, first thing is go to YouTube and then search for seamlesssolutions.com. And there we are, Seamless Solutions. And then you could subscribe to us. You can go to our playlist, and then we have these Microsoft View the full playlist. So right now we have Outlook tips and tricks. We've got the OneDrive, and then the Teams. And tomorrow they'll be added in the Excel one, and then after that, Word and more will keep coming. Yeah, I hope you guys all really enjoyed today. I know we kind of bounced around a lot, but we had a lot of fun. A lot of my trainings are kind of that way. We kind of jump all over. My favorite one, if you haven't watched this yet, please go watch this one. It is the best. The Outlook tips and tricks, by far one of my best. I think that one really is one of the better ones. You can subscribe to all our videos and our channel. There's other things on our channel that we're starting to post. We're just now starting to get our YouTube off the rails, I guess you could say, but we'll put more up there as we go along. All right. I think we had a lot of fun today. I hope you guys had fun. Oh, we had somebody from the UK. I should ask what the furthest place is that we have here. It's the UK. That's awesome. Cool. Thank you. I love the UK. That's fun. Fun place. All right, guys. Have a great day. Hope everybody really enjoyed it. Oh, Ireland. Man, really international today. Getting out there. I had one training class from Africa. I thought that was pretty cool. How do you get access to my YouTube channel? Just go to the YouTube channel. It's free. YouTube's free. All right, guys. You have a great day. I appreciate everybody coming.